benefits, no training, and no hope, they are going to be a permanent underclass. The government likes permanent underclasses. They like to soften them up and say, hey, don't worry, you got a friend. You need $400 this week? We got it for you. I've seen it firsthand. If they can do it long enough, they think they can get these people, and often they do. Because once you lose your will to work, your will to go out and take care of your family, you become a ward of the state. And that's what the game plan has been all along. To turn as many of us into wards of the state as possible. We stop thinking. We stop caring. We stop trying. We're like little birds in a nest waiting for big government to bring us some worms, some crumbs, and we're thankful for it. I've seen people argue for higher minimum wage. How stupid is that? I don't want minimum wage. I would never fight for higher minimum wage in my life. So we see the psychology, and this is the battlefield. The rest of this year into November is going to be the battlefield. The Tea Party has done incredible things. You put a hell of a dent into this thing. A hell of a dent. Woo! But they are not going to give up. They are not going to give up. But there are obviously cracks in their armor. When European countries are telling you, no, we don't want to spend any more money, because there is a distinct difference between spending and investing. There is a distinct difference when you tell the people, your people, that you can't do it, that only the government can do it. You crush them, you crush their will, or maybe that's what you want to do. But I can tell you, no one standing out here has lost their fight. No one out here has had their will crushed. We did not become the greatest country in the world because of big government. We became the greatest country in the world exactly because of the opposite. That rugged individualism, I never want to see that go away.
Yeah.
That idea that anybody can pull themselves up from their bootstraps, I believe in it 1,000%, no matter where you're born in this country.
Woo!
Anybody can pull themselves up by their bootstraps because we live in America. We better never start feeling sorry for ourselves. Never start thinking only the government can do it for us, because that's a lie. You know, throughout history, Europeans will come here and they would always marvel. They just could not understand this little nation, this small, young nation. How did it grow so big? Why is it so vibrant? You know, and I always talk about Tocqueville, who came here. He spent time in America. You know, he wrote a few books about democracy in America. And he couldn't understand. He said that we were the most, of all the Christian nations in the world, we were the most Christian. He couldn't understand that. He couldn't understand that everybody he bumped into thought they could be wealthy no matter where they were born. It blew him away. So he wrote a book about it, Democracy in America. He actually was trying it was actually, in his light, a negative book of America. He was trying to diss America. But there were passages in there that I think I'm proud of. You know, he said that all Americans care about is money. I hear you. Well, you know what? Everybody, it's not money, it's things you can get. And unfortunately, in other places like Greece, you don't have to worry about it if the government's giving it to you, but you certainly want money if you're going to get a 6-week vacation. But if the government's going to give it to you, hey, I guess you'll take it until eventually your government runs out of money, which of course is what exactly has happened in Greece. And it's happening all over the world. And we're heading there rapidly. The only thing saving us right now is our reputation. That's it. Our reputation, by the way, that was developed over 200 years of hard work. That rugged individualism is how we got that reputation. That's why when the world starts falling apart, people send their money here. People are buying our treasuries because they know, at least for now, that there's certain sort of spirit in this country that they can depend on. They know that we believe in God, we believe in freedom, and we believe that people who work hard will and should be rewarded. We believe it. doing it for a long time. A long time. That spirit has been in this country. You know, you think about when slavery was over, ex-slaves, people have been slaves, built towns. In Oklahoma, there were 30 towns built almost overnight with factories. I mean, that's the spirit I'm talking about in this country, where you can come from anything and you know that, you know what, I can make it. That's what I'm afraid of, guys. I'm afraid that they're sucking that out of us. That almost every day more and more Americans say, I can't do it. They are vampires. They're sucking us to death. They're sucking us dry. You know, the jobs report that came out yesterday, you might hear the good news on some TV stations that the unemployment rate was 9.5%. You guys know why it was 9.5%? Because 600,000 people dropped out. They gave up. They stopped believing in the American dream. If they were still looking for a job, the unemployment rate would be 10.1%. The point is, more and more people are giving up. Somehow we have to go out there and grab the hands of people who are willing to give up on this country and tell them don't. Somehow people who are listening to the rhetoric coming out of the White House that they will make it all better for you, you just sit back and collect a check. We've got to make sure that they don't do that. We've got to fight against them doing that. And these are hard times. It's not necessarily an easy message to get over to a lot of people. They've got the bully pulpit. They've got 99% of the media. The message is always twisted. Always twisted. Now they're studying up for November. They're going to blame European volatility on our economic woes. Because the time expiration on the Bush excuse ran out.
Yeah.
You can only blame the last guy for 2 years max, I think. I don't know. So here we go. We're setting up already for excuses and the blame game in November. But it's time for this country really to get away from that. It's time for us to get back to our roots. Everyone in this park knows what made us great. And you know what? I've run into so many people who are unemployed, and they say, I don't want an unemployment check. I'm embarrassed to take an unemployment check. I want a pro-business government that can unleash the power of this nation. Right now, banks have $1.8 trillion. The corporations have $1.8 trillion. Banks have over $1 trillion. And we've got about a record amount of savings amongst people in this country. The money is there. The money it's locked up. Why is it locked up? Why are people sitting on it? They're afraid. Who the hell would want to be successful these days? You're going to get dragged out in front of the media and whipped to death. You're going to be called a bad person. You made money? You opened up a business and you had the nerve to make money? How dare you? Of course, people are afraid. Look at interest rates and nobody's buying a house. The money is in the system already, guys. It's there. What's missing is confidence in this administration. What's missing and what's fading quickly is that we're losing faith in what made us great. We got patriots all over the country that are fighting the fight. They've done a tremendous job. They went against all the obstacles. First you were called racist, then you were called stupid, then you were called rich. so they tried every angle. They tried every angle. And you fought through it, and you're changing the world. You're not just changing America, you're changing the world. But the fight actually gets harder right now, not easier. The area we're entering, if you watch the Boston Marathon, they've got a place called Heartbreak Hill. And it feels like we've run a marathon, and this next few months will be Heartbreak Hill. They're going to throw everything, every single thing at us.